Happy Wednesday night and welcome to A Look on the Plus Side. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, and I hope you have, but if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It's called the Park Adventurers Club. We do a lot of cool things. I'll tell you more about that near the end of the show. Don't want to bug you with that right now, but it's a lot of great content. We hope you guys will come hang out and be a part of our community. And if you are here with us and you've already subscribed, please at least give us a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. And tonight, who's us? It's this lady right here. And please, Stephanie, no Beauty and the Beast jokes, please, because I don't.
Really? Because I'm so honored to be your guest.
Wow. Wow. It is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. We're going to have fun with this one. We were talking about the 1991 Beauty and the Beast movie. It kind of, in a way, it was part of, I think somebody said it earlier, it's part of the renaissance of Disney animation with Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, and right on the heels of The Little Mermaid, although there was a movie in between, but you know we count these back to back, really. And you know, it was an age of bringing the musical to the animated screen with fellas characters like this. And it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk to you about this one. And it's in our new format where we're going to talk a little bit not only about the movie, but also in our new format with a look on the plus side. We're taking a look on the plus side of the parks. We're talking about attractions that were inspiring movies and TV shows, and movies and TV shows that inspire attractions. So as you can see, I've highlighted here the attraction that we all know and love from Tokyo, which is the Beauty and the Beast one. And I'm giving myself free reign to talk as much about Tokyo as I want to tonight. So you're welcome.
You're welcome. I knew
Also,
it.
I'm rocking this because I don't have a lot of Beauty and the Beast merchandise. So this is a
Yes.
15th anniversary of Disneyland Paris with Lumiere on it that a friend of mine got for me once while over there. And so I was like, okay, well, what do I have? Now, I also have a Beauty and the Beast like T-shirt from the Broadway play because I saw it on Broadway uh,
Oh, right.
30 years ago when it came out on Broadway, and it was Susan Egan and Terrence Mann, and got to see it then. And I have this cool T-shirt, but it is also very old, so I went with this. Um, Let me ask you about this one though. So we're going to talk first about the movie. Where does this movie rank for you? Is this something you saw in the theater? You loved it. It really got into your head. This is like an ancillary princess movie for you. Like, tell me about your experience with this movie.
Well, of course, Sleeping Beauty is my favorite, and Cinderella is a close second there. The classics, I would rank this in the new set of classics. Like you're talking about the Renaissance. I remember writing in elementary school that my favorite princess was Ariel, so I would have been probably first grade or something to that effect. And I don't remember seeing this one in the theater, but I guarantee we did because that was something that was a tradition in our family. Go to the movie as soon as it came out. We were always anticipating what was coming out this summer because they were blockbusters. They were a family event. And I don't remember seeing it, but I do remember seeing over and over and over again our VHS tape of this growing up. We just ran that thing till it couldn't run anymore. So as a ranking, Belle's high up there. I would put her in the top probably five, but she's not my number one.
Okay. And you said, of course, Sleeping Beauty. Why, of course, Sleeping Beauty?
So many reasons. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
go.
Well,
Well,
you know what?
we
We can
could whole
hold off
show on
on that.
that.
You could talk about that at another time. Then I mean, I just thought that was interesting. You're like, well, duh, it's Sleeping Beauty. Move on. Next question. Um, yeah. So it was interesting that as you look through Disney Plus and you see the movies that are in there, and you know specifically under these Disney attraction or Disney full length animated features. So we see that we had kind of a weird time here with the Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Great Mouse Detective, and Oliver and Company. Now, Oliver and Company is one of my favorites. I love Billy Joel as the lead, voice in Dodger and all that. And then in 1989, here comes Little Mermaid, and then Rescuers Down Under stands between the two of them. So it's like we're
Hmm.
on this run here, and Rescuers Down Under, while not a bad movie, and honestly one we haven't
I like that.
reviewed,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure how soon we would get to it right now because it's not really one that's well represented in the parks. But it sits in between The Little Mermaid, 1989, and Beauty and the Beast in 1991. So, just an interesting thing. It was almost like they gave us a breather for a second, and then they're like, now we're going hard. We're going Beauty and the Beast. We're going Aladdin. We're going Lion King. And these are kind of like, these changed lives, these movies. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit heavy on that, but a lot of people got really into Disney around this time. And it
Yes.
affected the parks, and we see a lot of these. There were a lot of they're all musicals, and it really, that
Yes.
music sticks with us, right?
I think the difference is between the originals, like the Cinderella's, Snow White's, had songs and they did pertain to what was happening in the movie and advance the movie somewhat, but it was really secondary. It was secondary to the story, to the script. And I feel like this movie in particular, the music is integral. You have a lot of, exactly, you have a lot of exposition with song that you're explaining what's happening with the characters. You're setting up the scene, you're setting up the different dynamics between the characters. So it absolutely feels more like it should be on the stage, which makes sense. And it ran on Broadway for how many years?
Yeah. No, for sure. So let's take a look at the stat board for this one. So Beauty and the Beast, the runtime on this is an hour and 24 minutes. I do love to see a movie that is under 90 minutes, and so thanks for picking this one, Stephanie. The release time on this one, it was November 22nd, 1991, which is right around Thanksgiving. Rated G. The box office was 25 million, which seems like peanuts today. No, I'm sorry. I have these flipped. The budget was 25 million. The box office
Oh,
was 331. So please forgive
I
this.
was going to
I
say.
didn't have time to build it to scale or to paint it. And then, of course, the company is Disney. So the budget was 25 million, which again seems peanuts when you look at a movie like Frozen and how much that cost to do. And then the
Right.
box office on this one, 331 million. That's quite a return on your investment on something like this one. And so,
Yes.
um, I think that, a lot of that goes to the success of Beauty and the Beast. People were anticipating the next one. They see this one. This was around the time also, like, Howard Ashman tragically passed away, and so he was the kind of the guiding force. As if you watch the documentary called Howard, which is amazing, the guiding force behind, especially a Little Mermaid, but also Beauty
Mhm.
and also Aladdin. But the Beauty one, he was really instrumental in like saying we can do a long shot Broadway style opening to this thing and it work. And
Yep.
I think people were like, no, it's a little kids movie. They're not going to do that. They're not going to love it. And then they did it and they showed the opening song, and people were like, yep, we're sold. And that kind of rewrote, like, and then when we saw how The Lion King opened up, like Circle of
Right.
Life, exactly the same thing, right?
How more grand.
Um,
Yes.
so honestly, again, the music is integral to this movie and making it what it is. I've always said that I feel like a lot of the movies that don't have music, Rescuers Down Under is one of them, Atlantis,
Yeah.
Treasure Planet, Strange World. People are like, what are those movies, right? Raya. Um, but it's like, oh, Encanto? Ah, love that music. Ah, so good.
Exactly.
So I think that the music makes it like more of a staying power, especially in our Disney sphere, where you can then replay those songs when you do your castle projection show, or and
Hmm.
integrate it into a parade or something like that.
Even just the walking around the parks, even as you walk through New Fantasyland and you enter Belle's Village there, you hear that swell of the music around you, and you know you're in the movie. You can feel that magic right then and there. It gives you so many emotions just going through that. But the one that I would go back to is the people who grew up in the 50s and 60s with Snow White, with Cinderella, with Sleeping Beauty. This is the people of the 90s to as those people in the 50s and 60s. That's what I would equate it to. The people in the 80s and 90s that grew up with these movies, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, that's their Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and Cinderella.
Yeah, yeah, agree. So when this movie opens up, again, before we get to the big bell scene, it's got like a prologue where they talk about the beast and this curse and how it happened, and it's riveting. I mean, again, I remember seeing it
Beautiful.
originally, and you're like, Like, I mean, they draw you in, and visually it's taking you into the castle, and you see the stained glass, and they tell the story, and we have the narration, and it's just really like it's all the stained glass windows. It's really well done,
Mhm.
and they kind of set the stage there. Whereas a lot of times things are done through exposition. Sometimes they do flashbacks. Sometimes they'll like open a book. This one is it's kind of this is how they open up the movie to tell us about this story and set the stage for, okay, here's the problem.
Yeah.
It's this. Now cut to this girl in this poor provincial town, and let's get this show going. But it's like
Mhm.
here's the establishing here. And one of the things they talk about is like that she turns into a beautiful enchantress. Here's a thing that I just read in reading through this that maybe you've heard and maybe you haven't, but this was literally the first time that I've ever heard this. Is somebody said that Belle's mom was the enchantress. Have you ever heard
I've
that?
not heard that. No, that sounds like a fan fiction theory.
No, for sure. But they were like, oh yeah, it's definitely Belle's mom, and it's because like there's a picture that's Disney canon of Belle and her mom, and Belle's mom has uh,
Blonde hair.
roses all around her, and so like the
Ah.
rose she had offered, or and so that dress is very
Mm.
reminiscent of the one that Belle wears in the Enchanted Christmas, and I was
Mhm.
like, I've literally never heard that before. Now, obviously, we've heard a lot of the other theories about like how, you know, Tangled or Tarzan's related to Frozen is related to, but
Right.
this is the first time I've ever heard anything like this. So obviously, it's a fan theory and not like canon, but I
Yeah.
kind of see it. Now they address that a little bit more in the live action, which I love.
Mhm.
I love the difference between the live action, and we're not talking about the live action today, but the live action and the animated
Right.
Beauty and the Beast, because Lion King is a shot for shot remake,
Mhm.
which I didn't need. I love Lion King, didn't need that. Aladdin is a little different. The Beauty and the Beast one, they delve a little bit deeper into like, oh, like the whole plague mask and the mom and all the things that like. There's a little bit
Right.
more of a throw to what might have happened to her. It certainly wasn't this.
Mhm.
Certainly wasn't that
Yeah.
she turned into an enchantress and went and put a curse on this guy and was like, "Here's how you're going to solve it: is you're going to,
Marry my
you
daughter.
marry my daughter." Right? Exactly. But I had never heard that before that, and I just wanted to
I
see if
never
you
heard
had,
that
and I
either.
just missed out because sometimes you hear things and I don't.
No.
So I just have to
Oh,
run it
well.
by you.
Okay. No, I haven't.
Yeah, so it's hokum. That's what it is. It's not real.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So as we go into this, and again, the music is such a big part of it. There is a score behind that opening, but then we get into the Belle song that opens up with the Bonjour, and then the music is so integral to this, like we talked about from the top.
Mhm.
What is your favorite song from this now? Like, Be Our Guest
Mm.
is wears on my nerves because we hear it all the time. Now I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just
Mhm.
don't choose it. Um,
Mhm.
it's a showstopper. It's a big deal. It's the scene in the Tokyo ride is fantastic. We'll talk about that later. But I honestly like I'm okay with like there's songs like that I'm like I get it, but also like that's not my number one anymore. And maybe it's just because I've heard it too much. What
Mhm.
is and now I've insulted you because that's your favorite.
No, it's not. I guess I kind of keep them on the same level. I don't know. If I were to pick one that I would want to hear over and over again, I guess it would be the Belle song, Bonjour. But I don't know. I like the Gaston song. We like to sing that around here. We kind of, laugh and joke as my son's downing a bunch of protein drinks for baseball. He's like Gaston trying to eat 5 dozen eggs or what have you. But yeah, I think that all the music is so important to each segment of the movie. You can't really pick and choose out of it because you have to have it in context.
Yeah, except for Be Our Guest.
That's true.
Yeah, and the song Beauty and the Beast again is one we hear a lot in the same way we would hear um, Let It Go. It was one of those. It was just a big deal, and you hear it all the
It's
time. And there was a radio version with Peebo Bryson. So I mean, I guess that's part of that too. But looking through it, honestly, this is going to be a hot take. The Mob song. I don't know why.
Oh, that is interesting.
And part of it
Okay.
may be back to the parks and the fact that when they do that, and maybe not just that, maybe the Broadway one, but when they kind of do like they're
Kill the
walking,
beast.
yeah, but through the mist, through the like, it just there's something about
Hmm.
it that I really kind of like, and maybe it's the fact that dialogue is mixed in and out of it during that as
Hmm.
they're preparing the castle, but I do like the mob song, and again, like I feel like that's sort of a hot
Okay.
take on that because Gaston is fine. Like I mean I get it, and I
Yeah.
love that all of it's done that it's done for the parks and like the way that that tavern is themed, and he uses
Yeah.
antlers in all of his decorating, and the bell song at the beginning is good. I don't know. It just maybe
Hmm.
it's just because you don't hear that a ton, and maybe that's why I like that one.
Hmm.
I mean,
No,
I'm not
that's
like
a good
Team
point.
Gaston or anything here. I'm just saying like that's one that I do
Oh, that's a
now.
good point.
But the thing is, though, that's my favorite of the ones that actually are in the movie. There are a
Okay.
couple that were cut from the movie. Human Again, which
Hmm.
is actually in the Broadway uh, show, and then also Is This Home, which is in the Broadway show.
Hmm.
Is This Home is probably my favorite because it's so dramatic and sweeping and big.
Hmm.
So, but it's not in this
I
movie. But
liked To Be Human Again because it's going because that was originally set for the film and they ended up cutting it last second or what have you, but they ended up putting it back into the anniversary re-release that they did, and they re-released it in the theater and they had it in the movie because they had already animated everything too. And it's a beautiful waltz, and it kind of just goes character by character and telling what they are looking forward to the most. Of course, Lumiere's like, I could have a girl on each arm, this kind of thing. But I think that's a good song. I think it's again telling you a little bit more in depth about the characters and their desires because they were swept up into this whole curse. It wasn't them that did anything wrong, it was the silly prince. So
there's so many
poor kid,
weird
poor
things about
guys.
it that again we can look at the movie now and go, why was it this way?
Right.
Why does Chip have brothers and sisters in the cupboard, but like we don't ever meet them when they come human again, and
They don't
she
have
only hangs out
faces.
with Chip
Yes.
because
Yes,
she
and
puts
I
him to
think that
bed
the
in the
like you said,
cupboard,
the
and it's
live
like,
action.
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the live action tried to explain some of that, like you said. It tried to make more sense of some of these plot holes that are happening in the the cartoon version.
Yeah, like the fact that everybody was like kind of in a fog of like what happened, like
Hmm.
like somebody lost their husband or their wife and they just forgot them or whatever, and they
Yeah.
just don't even know what's happening. That
But
was an interesting take.
I did notice what you're talking about in the stained glass window, the narration. He does say at the beginning that she did this curse upon the whole castle and all who lived there. And anybody that's a Downton Abbey fan knows that the servants, some of them may live off on the property of the estate, but most of them actually do live in the castle itself. So that does make sense. So in the live action, when they're like, "Where did my wife go?" Well, your wife would have been living in the castle, so I'm not exactly sure how that would have worked.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at this going, "Oh my gosh, Downton Abbey." No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
So let's talk about the
good show.
animation. This was on the cusp of let's go and try more things with digital.
Mhm.
Definitely, like the ballroom scene has a lot of these digital elements into it, but it was still a hand drawn movie, and from a hand drawn standpoint, it is a
Yes.
beautiful movie.
Oh,
Um,
gorgeous.
yeah, I think that they did some amazing things with it. I think they learned a lot of stuff with the Little Mermaid, and the way that it's all put together is really well done. But there's a thing where animators work on different parts at different times. That there's a scene,
Yes.
and it's this. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. There's a scene
No, I was
in.
agreeing.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say, like, did you see the same thing I did? There's a scene in the movie where she comes back to the cottage where Maurice is, and she comes inside and she's talking to him, and she doesn't look like herself.
Oh,
Like,
yes. They have lead animators, but then they have other people that animate help them. complete their deadlines basically. So they'll
Yeah.
they'll divvy up the work, right? And I just feel like that's got to be one of those guys. And then also I learned this recently, I didn't realize, but as they're hand drawing and they have all of these rough sketches, they have a ton of different lines. So they pass them on to the next division, which is cleaning up those lines. And I wonder if some of those people redrew it and it didn't look exactly like the original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, she is a very, to me, and I don't want to be weird here, she's a very striking character
Yes.
in general. Like, I think she's one of
Hmm.
the more, and her, it's no wonder that her name means beauty, if I may.
Yes.
Her looks have got no parallel. But when,
Well, he.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the main artist on Belle said that he was trying to make her European exotic eyes. So maybe that's why we find her so striking.
But again, that again, not to be weird about it, but that I lose that in this cottage scene. It just looks
Hmm.
very Saturday morning cartoonish a little bit, whereas
Yes.
everything else is so grand. The stained glass windows in the beginning, the animation in general, the ballroom scene. There's just something about these scenes that look like some TV special that I saw once upon a time, and so it is a little bit.
Or the
You know
or
what I'm
the
saying? Like
the sequel. Hmm.
oh yeah, but yeah, but again, when you see scenes like this, I'm like, that's amazing. That looks beautiful. Like the
Hmm.
colors and just the backgrounds and everything, they're just really on point. So I go back and forth. This is really the main scene that I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't really look hashtag not my bell, right? Like that doesn't
Right.
look
Who is
it doesn't
this?
look as on par to me. But I think in general, the way they go back and forth between like the brightness of the village and the darkness of the castle
Yes.
is really well done, because everything in the castle is dark, and everything in the
Hmm.
in the outside world, whether it's Gaston's or the
Hmm.
cottage or whatever, is very bright. So
I also heard one commentator talk about the colors that they use, and that they use blue as being more true and loyal and honest and pure, and then the red is more of a villainous, thing. So when the beast, when she first meets him, he has a red cape on, but then as their relationship progresses, he has this blue, royal blue coat, and he ends up in that blue color, and Gaston is in the red, exactly, pretty much through the whole film. Bells in blue.
yeah. And then she turns that in for yellow. So
Mhm,
actually, she wears several different colors in this. I think that when I
mhm.
reviewed this a long time ago, I was noticing like that there's a green dress in there somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that, because we don't see her in the
Yep,
parks in that. We see her in this outfit, the blue one, or you
yep.
usually see her in the yellow dress, or you might see
Mhm.
her in like the winter get up
Christmas.
in, yeah, at Christmas
Yes.
time.
Mhm.
As long as there's Christmas, we're gonna see her
That's
in that.
right. Can sing
Um,
it.
yeah, I know, right? It feels like it. I don't, and again, this movie is just under 90 minutes. And the pacing on it, I think, is pretty amazing. Like, even in
Yes.
rewatching this, sometimes when we rewatch some of the old ones together, I'll go,
Mhm.
it's a little slow, or,
Right.
but with this one, the pacing of it seems like it's good. So, I mean,
Mhm,
even though we missed the song "Human" again, and there was like sketches or animatics or whatever for it,
mhm.
clearly it's they probably did the right move in removing this.
Yeah.
Um, in general, I think the animation is on point, except for, like I said, that point. But also, when they re-released this, I don't remember if it was an anniversary or not. They re-released it in IMAX, and I saw it in
Yes.
IMAX at like a science theater. And when I did, I was like up near the front, and I could see like the little characters, like the townspeople in the distance, were just like a circle with two dots on it. So I was like, because it wasn't designed for
Right, to see
like
that.
the big screen.
Mhm.
A lot of it was, was set up, but some of it was like a scene like this plays really well in,
Ah,
yeah,
absolutely.
in an IMAX theater. But like some of it, it's just like it's a little bit off. Every time she rolls into that scene, by the way, it
Mhm.
feels like the hills are alive with the sound of music. It was almost
Absolute
like
I
there's
was just
this
about to say
yes,
Sound of
as she
Music.
like spins off into there. It's like this is Julie Andrews
Mhm.
in The Sound of Music.
There's a lot
Um,
of similarities between the Belle character and Maria.
Maria.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be yeah. That, and then Chip is just like some of the children there.
Well, funny enough about Chip, I was going back to see who the actors were because I didn't recognize who this was. It's just a child. Well, he is the boy in Jumanji.
Hmm.
Because I mean, he was littler in this film, but yes, I was like, where did I know him from? So he played with Robin Williams in Jumanji later.
Yeah. All right, so let's use that to dovetail into the cast because the cast in general was mostly nobodies. Like Angela Lansbury was a big deal. Jerry Orbach
She was a big
was
deal.
a big deal.
Yes.
But like David Ogden Stiers was not the main guy on MASH, but he was on MASH and definitely a known person after this. But like I look at Joanne Worley, who had been on Laugh-In, so she was somebody, but not really
Yeah.
at this time. And then we cast Paige O'Hara as Belle and Robbie Benson as the Beast. Now, Robbie Benson had been nobody for a while, but I remember that when I was growing up, my sister was much older than me, and she had the hugest crush on Robbie Benson.
He was
And
cute.
so, like, because of that, I know who Robbie Benson is. And then the fact that he, like, sang his part and
Hmm.
that Jerry Orbach sang his part. I mean, like that was pretty cool because we knew Jerry Orbach from what was it, Law and Order.
Law and Order. But before that, which I didn't realize, that he was a Broadway star, and so is Paige O'Hara. So most of these people are coming from Broadway. Robbie Benson, I could not get a better beast. Like honestly, if he were to do, he's one of these that I wish he had done a live action back when he was younger because he would have been perfect. Absolutely. But I think he was on General Hospital or something. Maybe that's where your sister knows him from.
No, he was in recently in Severance, and it freaked me the heck out
Oh, yes.
because I'm
Hmm.
like, what? Not him. Why would Robbie Benson do this? Like it's just kind of like in MASH when Alan Alda did the dark stuff later on to kind of like
Hmm.
shake the whole Hawkeye thing. I guess Beauty and the Beast maybe pigeonholed him later on, but I mean he was like
Right.
the Tiger Beat teen heartthrob, and then he moved
Hmm.
into like directing, I think, and then he did the voice of
Yes,
the
Wonder
Beast, and
Years.
then yeah, and then
Hmm.
he was the evil doctor dude in Severance. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a cool arc for him to have done
Hmm.
that. But he came back and he redid the voice for several things, including some of the video games like Disney Speedstorm, Dreamlight Valley, and then he also redid the Beast for Once Upon a Studio. So
So good.
yeah, and then Paige O'Hara is great. She kind of like Jodie Benson is one of those that,
Legend.
and Susan Egan, who are just like they so love the character that they did. Some people try to like break free of the character that they were.
No.
These folks love the character that they did, and they mean something special to them. And when you see them at
Hmm.
fan events or doing any of the like the TV specials, it's really cool to see them. And Paige O'Hara, I got to meet at one of the D23s, and she was very nice. So
That's awesome.
uh,
Yeah, she
yeah,
was at Festival of the Arts this year, I think.
okay. That
Hmm.
I will take your word for that. I didn't know
She
that.
was.
Yeah, and Angela Lansbury I think was like the big deal from this one, right? Because
Yes.
she had been Broadway. She did Murder She Wrote. She did she just was a big time like legend,
And she
and
was a
so
movie star prior to that. Yeah.
for her to be in this was a pretty big deal. But again, I think in general, it wasn't like we're going out to get the hottest thing going. It seems like
Right.
they cast this appropriately for what they needed, and it ended up
Hmm.
being a really good cast.
With Angela Lansbury, I think she had some apprehension about doing this part. She did send in an audition tape, and they immediately heard it and said, "This is Mrs. Potts," and they started drawing based off of what they heard from her. But she did not want to sing the title song. She didn't want to sing Beauty and the Beast. And they said, well, just come in, we'll just demo it, just one take. She did it in one take. They recorded it and they were like stunned and they kept it in the movie. So she didn't get to have somebody else dub in for her, but she did it herself.
Um, yeah, again, I feel like beginning to end, they did a really good job with the setting the stage at the beginning,
Mhm.
very much keeping the beast himself in shroud and in mystery until we actually meet
Mhm.
him when Belle comes to, like, we don't really even meet him when Maurice is captured. We really kind of more meet him when we, the whole step into the light. There's something about her face when she kind of
Yes.
like goes step into the light. Like, I'm curious about
Yes.
what you look like. Well, you know what, Belle, we're all curious about what he looks like. Get him over here. Like
Well,
it,
that's
it's
it's interesting
go
that you
ahead.
bring that up because I was noticing on the rewatch today that when she meets him, the scene that you're seeing from the first person perspective of Belle, and she's kind of on the ground, and so she's looking up at him, and you see like from underneath the shadow that comes up. But then also after his transformation, that is again the same viewpoint that you get, first person viewpoint from Belle's perspective. And now you're seeing him in human form. So I just thought that was a good bookend that they did. I didn't notice it before.
Yeah. No, I again, it's really well done the way they the way the way they bring him in into that. But
Mhm.
like, again, like he's been totally in shadow the entire time, and then this is the first time that we get to see who he is. So the fact that they've kept that mystery for the first 25 minutes of this movie, almost the first third of this
Right.
movie, is really well done. And I really think speaks to like the way that the story is told. It's not just them retelling the story from the book, and it's not just the musical part. There's an actual story to it. This is the Belle that I mean,
Yeah.
this strikes me as more like the Belle
Yes.
that I'm thinking of as opposed to the animated that we saw before. Yeah. um, but it's again, the gothic darkness of these scenes and the other the
Mhm.
light of the town and the music and all of it just really is so well put together, and it's well paced, and it's just a solid movie.
Yes.
Like no notes. Like the cast is well done. The directing is well done. The
Mhm.
storytelling is well done. I think this is. I would say this has got to be in the top 10 of the
Oh,
full length
of all
animated
time.
features. Yeah,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
not just because like of where we grew up. Because
No.
like I said, I would never tell people go see Tron. It's the best movie you will ever see. But yet, when I grew up with Tron, like that was a big deal to me. So like
Mm.
I appreciate the fact that like it was nostalgia for me as opposed to it is, and it was groundbreaking and all of
Mhm.
that. But like this one is it's just top to bottom. Just I feel like a really solid movie.
Well, absolutely, and when you have to create actual programs, because they didn't have this for the ballroom scene, they actually had to create the software and this by hand, upload it into the system, and have this new technology that they haven't used on any other film to be able to integrate the hand-drawn and the CGI, basically,
And you know what? I think they
and
knew
that
they
they were
had.
able to do the camera angles that they had.
I was about to say, I think
Go
they
ahead.
knew they had something special there because I feel like that was used in all of the advertising. Is that like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
right? Like,
For sure.
you won't believe Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
It just it really feels like that's like I can almost remember that from
Mm.
from the commercials, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, just it is very unique in the way that it's put together with the that, and then for us to see those worlds rebuilt in things
Mhm.
like the Be Our Guest restaurant. It's like, whoa, like we saw this happen in the movie and now we're walking through this. It's kind of amazing. So,
Absolutely.
um, again, I feel like this is a tale as old as time. We know this story. People talk about this story all the time. It was told like there was that Linda Hamilton Beauty and the Beast TV show, right?
That's
And then there
right.
was the Kristen Kurek Beauty and the Beast, and then there was like the live action version, and there were other stories told before it. So it is interesting to see Disney's version of it because in a lot of cases, the
Mhm.
version that we know from childhood is the original,
Mhm.
and that's not necessarily the case with this one. This is one that we had heard in other places, and so then it's just Disney's retelling of it.
Yes, and I think that they do a better job because the original story, if you go with the French version of this, because there are multiple different versions in different cultures of the same kind of story. But if you go with the, somewhat original version in the French, it's the her father picks a flower, picks the rose from the garden, and then he incurs the beast wrath because of that. And you're kind of going, why? Because he's trespassing, I guess, maybe, are you
Right.
stealing from you, and so is that really taking a life basically for, his slave versus, okay, was it warranted, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So in this has more of an explanation because you're seeing the difference between him and Gaston. He is, yucky, but he's beautiful on the outside. So the enchantress turns him to be looking scary and yucky and terrible on the outside so that he finds his humanity and finds his empathy for other people and then becomes human again. And Gaston is beautiful on the outside, but really rotten on the inside. So,
Yeah.
Disney did a great job with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that in the parks they made him sort of the fool of like,
Hmm.
whereas there is he is not all that smart, but he is an evil genius. And when it like as
Yeah.
far as an evil guy goes, because he is dangerous and
Hmm.
he's a great villain. But like in the parks, he's just a goofball. He's just like he's like doing the basically what we see from him in the beginning. But the idea of like deciding to have Belle's father locked up and use that as bait
Yes.
to get what he wants,
Very
and then
manipulative.
realizing that like when he sees the beast that there's a conquest that he can have, and he can have like
Hmm.
this legendary status for slaying this beast, and he's going to go do it and take charge and be the leader, and it's like that's scary stuff. So I feel like there is a darkness to
Yeah.
him that you see in this, and maybe that's one of another reason I like the mob song is because he is just very much a villain. Like
He's
there's not
very
a redeeming
manipulative.
quality.
He's very narcissistic, and I think maybe you can know at least one person in your life that is has some of those traits, unfortunately. But that
Wow.
it makes it feel more real because of that.
Yeah. So yeah. But again, I think it has all the elements of something, and to your point about like beautiful on the outside is like the beast feels like he is a villain because he's scary,
Hmm.
but he's really the good guy, and the
Right.
villain who looks like the good guy and everybody thinks is the good guy is really the bad guy.
Hmm.
And so
Yep.
even to that level of like how evil they are versus just their beauty. So anyway, it's interesting all of the versions of this. Obviously, it went from this to then a Broadway musical, and then they made a live action
Hmm.
version of it. There was the sequel that we talked about, Belle's Enchanted Christmas. Is that what
Yes.
it's called?
Yep.
And then there's a third movie. It's like a like enchanted that has a couple different stories that were put together, and then they have the live action one, which again maybe
Hmm.
someday we talk about that one. I don't know, but I want to kind of stick away from that one. But I think in general, what strikes me about this one is that it is a poor provincial town. It's French, but hardly anybody is French.
Yeah.
Like we say
Everyone speaks
bonjour,
English. Yeah.
like
Yes.
not even like only like Babette I feel like is,
Yes.
and maybe Lumiere, I guess.
Lumiere. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lumiere
but
does a good
like
job.
yeah, Cogsworth like feels straight up British. Like
Maybe
I
he is
mean,
a British butler come to the French court. I don't
yeah.
know.
But like Mrs. Potts is straight up British, and the Beast
Hmm.
certainly doesn't have an accent, so that's an
Hmm.
interesting one. But there was also a thing that they did for the 30th anniversary of this, where I think it was her and Josh Groban
Right.
got together
Yes.
and did this, where they brought some of the cast in, and I mean not well basically performed the music from this. So it is Beauty and the
Yes.
Beast in concert basically, but it's a 30th anniversary celebration.
Mhm.
So definitely something that if you're looking for other stuff to check out, there are also sing along versions of both the live action and the animated. Did you do the sing along version when you went back and rewatched this, or
Nope.
yikes? Um, Anyway, so in our new format, we want to talk a little bit about the again the park inspirations that came off of this one. This is one that inspired the parks, as opposed to something like Pirates of the Caribbean that inspires the movies. This is one that inspires the attractions we love in the parks. So before we get into anything else about the movie in general, and we'll get to the final thoughts on it at the end, but anything else about the movie in general you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I just think it's one of those that is endearing, and it is quintessential Disney. So as much as it sounds like a Broadway play, has all the elements, and I really feel like the story is so well developed, and it's part of the reason that it did well on screen and on stage, because they brought in a screenwriter. So they had both the Broadway legends doing the book and the music, but then they had the screenwriter saying, how is this going to translate on the big screen? So I think they did an excellent job all the way around.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, to your point about the Broadway stage, like like Encanto feels like it was made for Broadway, and maybe part of that was Lin-Manuel Miranda's involvement in it. So
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I feel like they're way behind. They should have known from the get that one should have been on Broadway. Moana feels like it should have been on Broadway, and we haven't seen either of those. And it took forever for Hercules to get like a big stage performance.
That's true.
I think there are a lot of opportunities for a lot of these Disney movies, but you're right. This one did feel like it was written for Broadway, so much so that it became the first in a series of Broadway plays. And I've watched Susan Egan and Alan Menken. I had the opportunity to see them in New York in a small, intimate venue, talking about, and they performed some songs, and they talked about 30 years of Disney on Broadway. And in doing so, they were talking about like how people just were like, why is Disney invading our space? This is Broadway. You shouldn't be here. Like, this is kiddie stuff. Like, save that for Disney on Ice. Don't come here. And
That's
then
too
they were
snooty.
talking about how unwelcoming Broadway was to them. And then now it's just like it's a staple of Broadway, between things like Beauty and the Beast and
Lion
Lion King. Frozen was a big deal.
Aladdin.
Newsies was a big deal. Mary Poppins. I mean, again, there's been 10 to 12 like musicals that have, and some of them didn't work. Like Little Mermaid didn't last too long. Tarzan didn't last too long. But now we get to see some of those stars like reprise their roles at the Festival of the Arts in the park, which is kind of nice to see. So let's talk a little bit about the park elements of this. But before we do, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you guys for being here with us live. And I want to, before we get away from the movie part, Stephanie, I wouldn't want to leave the movie part without asking you a couple trivia questions, because I know that's your favorite part. I have to tell you guys, Stephanie was tripping pretty hard about this, the trivia thing. But, Rosita's here. She loves the trivia. So
Yay!
We got to do
Help
that.
me,
Fire
Rosita.
Chief is here, so he loves to keep track. So like, let's just
He
do
needs
it,
to help.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just do it. Let's talk about this. Now, I mentioned that we had done this a while ago, that we reviewed this one, but I think it's having an anniversary this year because it's turning 35. Is that right?
Yeah, crazy.
So that's why I think one of the reasons you brought this one back out is something that we should talk about. I had some trivia last time. This is all new trivia just for Stephanie. You're welcome. So I feel like this first one, and see, I feel like you never believe me anymore when I say this. I feel like that you will get this, and it's gonna. Come on, lady. I feel like you will get this because I feel like it will hit home for you, but maybe I'm wrong. Is that in the stained glass windows in the beginning, the princess is holding like a staff, and it really is more like, I guess, his scepter. What is on the end of that scepter? Because we see it several times.
Gosh, Rob, and you said that this is going to be easy. We see it several times. What is on the end? I don't know. A rose.
It is not. Here's why I thought this was going to be a thing that you would know. It's a fleur-de-lis.
Oh, because it's, French. Absolutely.
French. I mean, I know that you're
should.
not in New Orleans, but I feel like that you get some of that Mardi Gras vibe going, and maybe a Saints fan. I don't know. But again, if you are, don't tell me you're a Saints fan. I don't need to hear that. But honestly, like, it feels like I thought you might have
Should have known.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay. This is a 50-50 question. You have a 50% chance of getting this wrong.
Thank you.
I mean, right. You have a 50%
Sure.
chance of getting this right.
Both.
In the opening song, the first person to say bonjour, is it a male or a female?
A male.
That is correct.
Yay.
Do you know anything about him? I don't think we see him
Um,
again, but like, do you know anything about him?
is he pushing a cart or something?
He is not.
Oh, I don't know.
He throws open a window and he's like,
Oh,
bonjour. Um, yeah. Here's the fella in question. This is him.
ah. Should know
So
the
again, I don't
handlebar
know that we
mustache.
see him anymore, but like I didn't ask you to
Mm,
describe him. I just said is it a guy or a girl, and because they kind of go back and forth with that. But it's something that like here's the thing that gets me about that. It's something that we hear that song all the time, and it's like
yeah.
we're not processing it. Like who's doing what and who's singing, because we're probably singing along.
Hmm.
So, and it is a very quotable movie. Like we've been quoting it all night. I feel like. Uh, there's a scene where Lumiere and Cogsworth are coaching the Beast along,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Well, what do you think?" He's like, "Well, you could give her, what do people normally give her or give as gifts?" And he's like, flowers, chocolates, promises
Flowers,
you don't
chocolates,
intend
and...
to keep. Like, I mean, it's just,
and that was an ad lib, and they kept it
oh,
in.
was it?
It
Yeah.
was good, yes.
Okay. When guess you're doing good. You're doing good. You're 1 for 2.
Sure.
So when we see Gaston basically about to propose to Belle,
Okay.
he's in the cabin or her cottage. He
Okay.
kicks off his shoes. He kicks his feet up, and one of his feet, the sock has a hole in it. Is that the left or the right? Now, again, here you're in a 50-50 situation.
Gosh. I'm gonna go with the right great toe, unless he had his feet crossed, but I still think it's the right great toe. Is it?
Now, I'm interested as someone in the medical field, the reference of a great toe. Is that what we call?
The first toe, sure.
Is that the
Yes.
great toe? Like I didn't know,
Hmm.
but you
Yeah.
are correct.
Yay!
It is the right great toe. So,
Hmm.
uh,
Good.
there you go. You're doing really well. Like you're kind of killing it, honestly. So I mean, I don't know what you were worried about this whole time. So everything is great. Um, here's another easy one. This is super easy. What's the horse's name?
Philippe?
That is correct. And then
Yay.
here's the final question. See, you almost made it all the way through, and you were stressing for nothing. Look at that.
This is
Um,
gonna be like,
the 3 girls that follow Gaston around are referred to as the Bimbettes. I didn't make that up.
mhm.
That is actually how they're listed in the credits. Um, what are their 3 colors of their dresses?
Red, green, and gold, I think.
Bam, bam, boom, boom, boom. Look, Stephanie, unstoppable
Yay!
tonight. Here's the trophy. You did it.
I'll
4 out
take
of
it.
5, rocking the questions. I appreciate you for doing that. Let's roll into and thank you guys for playing along in the chat. You guys were fun. Care Bear said pink,
I have a
yellow,
question for
and
Reed.
green.
Pink.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna go
No, 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 no.
specific
It's
instead
no.
of red.
We're good. That was close.
What I have a question for you. How many birds does the beast end up having when he has the bird feed and he's trying to get birds to climb into his paws and Belle kind of spreads it out and allows the birds to come over? How many does he end up having that he's looking like, what did I do?
12.
All over him. It's 18. I counted 18.
When I have to tell you guys,
So
when we started this, before we went on, she had her phone up and she was doing this. So I assume, is that when you were counting how many birds were there? Was it you were counting how
yes.
many birds were there? Because you
Yes.
thought I was going to ask you that question. I feel like the stuff I
I
ask
did.
is not that granular. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty like stuff you should have noticed. I just think that a lot of times we don't actually notice that stuff. So, um, So let's talk about the stuff in the parks because again, we complain a lot of times as Disney fans, oh, there's too much IP. But then again, I think we enjoy it when it's our
Yeah.
favorite movie and we can walk into it or experience it.
True.
Sometimes it takes them too long to get to it. Like in Kanto,
Mhm.
it seems like it took a long time, and I feel like we're still not there with some
Yeah.
other movies. They'll do some like quick things sometimes, like a meet and greet, or like add
Mhm.
some elements to a show or whatever. But I think that you and I both agree every single solitary full length animated feature should have a dark ride, 100%.
Dark ride, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
there
sure.
isn't one on this continent for Beauty and the Beast, but we'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about what is here. When Beauty and the Beast first opened, the Disney MGM Studios had a restaurant. I don't know if you remember this restaurant. It was called the Soundstage Restaurant. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
So that's where Disney Junior like dance party is now or is over there in that animation courtyard.
Ah,
And the genius of this was that
mhm.
they would make it look like you were backstage at an animated movie. Like there's the Backlot Express
Right.
on the other side of the park, but this was like the soundstage restaurant was like you just like they literally had a soundstage where they were doing the animated movies. You would walk in here and there you would order. The
Uh-huh.
catwalk bar was above, which is now Club 33, and then the downstairs is a
Mhm.
dance party area for whatever reason. But this restaurant was Beauty and the Beast, and that was cool because there was like you would walk up the stairs and there was the rows, and then you would walk up further to the catwalk. But there was the rows on the landing, and it was kind of like the one we see in the Be Our Guest restaurant. But it was a
Mm.
really interesting way for them to quickly put that in because it followed by them retheming it to Aladdin. And so I don't know why they got
Oh,
rid of it. I don't know if it was the
don't do that.
location was bad. It shared a kitchen with the Brown Derby because they were back to back there.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know why they got rid of it, but I enjoyed that one.
Hmm.
That was a neat thing. So then they went back in and they redid. Uh, uh, there was a show. Let me back up a second. There was a show at Hollywood Studios. It was originally, I think there was like a Dick Tracy show there at Hollywood Disney MGM Studios, and
That's
then there
right.
was like another show, and then they made a Beauty and the Beast show. It was like um, the Hollywood. I forget what it's called. It's the Theater of the Stars. So it was
Hollywood
right
Bowl.
there. Well, they call it the Theater of the Stars, but it was right there at the end or in the middle
Mhm.
of Hollywood Boulevard. And then they demolished it and
Yeah.
they built Sunset Boulevard Extension, and then they rebuilt it down at the end. And when they rebuilt it, they
Ah.
still made it Beauty and the Beast. And so this was like one of the places where you could go and see Beauty and the Beast. And after you see the stage show and you come back to this one, it's a little off. I mean, it's still a good show. My wife and my daughter were big, huge fans of this one, and they would go all the time. But this is again something that they could infuse pretty quickly into the parks. But like, you don't ever really see those
Mhm.
characters like get a quick chip meet and greet anywhere, but you could. Like they could use
No.
those characters somewhere. Um, but so they kind of took a different turn
Mhm.
with it when they did that on Broadway. It was almost as if the characters had slowly turned into the thing. So like Mrs. Potts was a human, but
Yes.
like her arm was the spout. Um,
Mhm.
and so it was interesting. But the one thing I used to love about this was the transformation scene. Now the transformation scene went
Oh,
from like an 8 to an 80 on Broadway. Like it was so good.
wow.
Like the one that was there. But this one was pretty good. You found it at the stage show?
I have seen well, not just the stage show at Hollywood Studios, but I've seen it on Broadway. I just don't remember it very much because I think I was in middle school. It had been running for a while,
Good
and
night, everybody.
we did not see any of the big headliners, you know?
I was in middle school. Whatever, lady. Um, so when they went and they redid New Fantasyland, one of the things that they were originally going to do
Okay.
was they were going to have an area for Beauty and the Beast, and an area for
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty, and an area for Cinderella, and an area for Tinkerbell. And then Tom
Mhm.
Staggs, who had like all boys, was like, too much. And so they like backed away from that because there was going to be a Cinderella like meet and greet situation, magical meet and greet, same thing.
Mhm.
And then they were like, you know what, we've got the Snow White ride here. Let's just take that and we'll make that the multiple princess meet and greet, and then we'll go over here and we'll build the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is still to this day one of the most popular attractions at all of Walt Disney World. So definitely was a good move, and certainly a big money maker for them. Those single lane multi passes, I mean the single lane
Lightning lanes.
lightning lane, single pass lightning lane. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there are these elements of Belle that were still there, including Enchanted Tales with Belle, which is you go up to Maurice's
Yes.
cabin or a cottage. I don't know why I keep calling it a cabin. You go up to Maurice's cottage, which is beautiful.
So
And
pretty though.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
and you walk inside, and then you have this whole experience where you walk through. I don't want to ruin that for anybody. Like,
Oh my
can we ruin
gosh.
that for people?
That is the
It is
best. No, that is the one of the best illusions
reveals.
that happens in front of your face, because you're like, how did that just grow? How did that grow in front of me? How am I walking through this? And it was a master marvel of engineering
Yeah,
when we
it's
first saw that.
But see, that's the shame of it, right? Like, I would love to do that more often, but it feels a little bit weird for me to trip on into Enchanted Tales with Belle and then sit there for the little show. But that
About
reveal, I've only
kids.
seen it maybe twice, but it's really well
Oh.
done. And then when you get inside, it's like Lumiere is your host, and the animate, like the little
Mhm.
animatronic or puppet. Lumiere is fantastic, and then Belle comes in and she's all
Absolutely.
surprised, and you're
Oh,
giving like her a party,
Madame
and then
Wardrobe before you even enter.
yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
But then they assign the little kids roles, and I think that's probably why we stopped going. Is that my kids
Hmm.
don't like interactive. They don't like to be part of things. So like because
Called out.
my son was made like the her like royal guard or something like that, and he was like, nope,
Hmm.
don't care for that.
Oh,
Um, but then
that's so
Gaston's
good.
Tavern is right next door, and they have like LeFou's Brew and the little mugs, and then they've got the Maurice like the popcorn cart there, and then the Bonjour gifts, and
Hmm.
it's just a neat little area right there, and the fountain that's
Hmm.
there with the out in the middle, and then you see the castle in the distance, which is up on the hill, and then you go into the Be Our Guest restaurant, and inside the castle on the hill or the
Yeah,
restaurant.
not great. No, the restaurant's phenomenal. I mean, at least the atmosphere. It was a little overpriced. But the forced perspective that they tried to do with the castle, not great. They should have just gone ahead and built it further back, made it more of that forced perspective, or go ahead and build just partly up, and you can cut it off for some, I don't know, obscure it somehow. But that in itself is not great.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
pulling up. No, no, no. I'm pulling up this version of it here. So it's almost like somebody put a dollhouse up on a
Yeah.
rock. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Well, when we get to Japan, buckle up because that's totally different. Anyway, so we went. So they have this little area, and now we've got like a Beauty and the Beast representation here. You don't really have anything that I could think of off the top of my head, like Animal Kingdom. It wouldn't really make sense. Or and then at Epcot, oof, at Epcot we've got the Beauty and the Beast sing along. How do you feel about that one? A lot of people hate it.
No. I don't. I don't like it because I feel like at Epcot you're supposed to be about the real country. I don't mind having the characters come and do meet and greet, but whenever you're just putting in, I guess I would have to say that I don't like Ratatouille for the same reason then, because you're talking about the film versus you're talking about the actual country.
So you don't like Frozen either?
No.
Hmm?
Like the Norway rat.
You like the Maelstrom? You will not
Not
the
our
first
version of
classic ride.
Frozen. Maelstrom.
That's fine. Well, you know what? And that's the thing about like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It sits in a place that used to be a hallowed ground for the Great Movie Ride, but the one in California sits in a place that didn't used
Exactly.
to be anything. And so like it's really nice to go there and experience that one. So yeah.
Hmm.
At Disneyland, they took the Pinocchio's Village House and for the live action made it the Red Rose Tavern. So I don't know if you can really say that that was inspired
Yes.
by this movie because it really was inspired by it was inspired by the live action one. But it is you do have the Red Rose Tavern that's there, and then you also have at both of those parks you have Mickey's Philhar Magic, which has a big Be Our Guest bit in
Yes.
it. And if you
Remember.
have to choose
Hmm.
between the two, please go see it at Disney World and not at Disneyland. It is absolutely a travesty what they tried to shove into that little theater there. I don't know. But the Mickey's PhilharMagic, that scene in there is, again, it's very, very Be Our Guest. So a very easy way for them to have intertwined it, which then they brought the Coco scene to it. So again, a way for them to quickly get things
Hmm.
into the parks. Um,
Yep.
so I feel like, is that pretty much it that we have for Beauty and the Beast? I mean, again, that's theoretically that's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the stage show, that
No
soundstage restaurant I
rides.
talked about, the sing along at Epcot, meet and greets, obviously, the Be Our Guest restaurant, the Enchanted Rose at Grand Floridian. That's the other thing too, is very loose. And I don't know how you feel about that one either.
Blasphemy. It's heretical. Should not have whatever Louis the 14th or what have you French in the turn of the century English. We're talking not American, but English building. I don't understand it.
Well, Jay Ware said throw it out. I wonder if he's talking about that. Rosita says I agree with Stephanie. So yeah, I mean it's,
Thank you,
but
Rosita.
I've never been in that one. I've always threatened to go into that. I've never been into that one. But I think you and I have
Nope.
talked in general about the Grand Floridian being all over the place with IP. And so the fact that you've got this Grand
Yeah.
Floridian, but you've taken this story from a French fairy tale and put it into a upscale, you didn't need to do that. Like you don't need any IP in
No,
those deluxe hotels, but there you
absolutely.
have it. Yeah. So
Hmm.
then, I think that's pretty much it for here. But there's a land across the sea
Oh, a little
where,
place. A little
yeah,
place. Yeah.
exactly, where they did this. This is the castle. They've
See?
basically got two freaking castles at
Oh,
Japan. At Tokyo Disney has this attraction. They made a whole area for Beauty and the Beast. And
this
this
hurts my
castle is
heart.
beautiful. And as a matter of fact, it's seemingly, and I don't know the scale of the two, but it's seemingly as big as Cinderella's castle is in the same
Wow.
park. And so it's like you're seeing, like, it probably throws some people off as far as like getting their bearings. And then like
That's
inside, it's
incredible.
just like you're walking through the castle. I mean, it is
Mm,
there's the master's chair, pet de pooch.
that's so cool.
Um, but yeah, it's so well done, that entire experience. And so you go in. Um, here's here's the pooch, by the way. This is my daughter walking by the,
Oh,
yeah. But this
looks good.
experience is so well done from top to bottom. The queue is amazing. The pre-show is next level. And again, I hope
Oh,
this isn't spoilers and messing anything up for anybody. But when you
no,
come into this
please.
grand staircase, there are these two areas at the top where Belle. First, they tell the story through
Yes.
the window in the middle with the stained glass, and it's in Japanese, but we get it. We know the story. And then like Belle and Beast literally come out.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
the animatronics come out, and it is amazing. And then it's like we got to cut through the kitchen to go back in and get on the attraction. And the attraction is a ride through of the actual story. This was in the queue too.
Oh,
Like you see this, like
love that.
with Mrs. Potts and Chip, and she's telling him a little bit of the story. And then when you get in to get on the attraction, like this is there, and it's
Mm.
so amazing when you get into this room, and they load you quickly into a large teacup. Um, and here's what the ride vehicles look like. And I actually have. Japan sells these little
Oh,
like
miniature.
die-cast metal versions of their ride vehicles, and so I definitely had to get this one because we all had favorites. A lot of them. My wife's favorite attraction in Japan was Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure over at
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Sea. My daughter's was the Tangled Lantern Festival.
Hmm.
My son's was Sinbad, which is interesting.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but this one by far was my favorite. We did it immediately. It was the very first attraction we did when we got there, and when we rode through it, our jaws were on the floor. Like, what did we just see? And it's just like I can't even.
Gosh.
I would trade, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I would trade Rise of the Resistance for this in a
No
heartbeat.
way. Wow, that's saying something.
I
Yes.
mean, it was just again from top to bottom, it was just so good. But we were talking about Be Our Guest. The scene in Be Our Guest, this right here, where you see like the stuff on the table,
Mm.
like when you first enter the room, the table is empty, and they spin you around, and then when you spin back around, there's something else on it, and then you
What?
spin you around again, and there's more there, and it's just like so well done. And you spend a little bit of time in
Wow.
each room, and they have you hear like you get to sample the different songs as you're in each room, and they just kind of move
Mhm.
you around. Like there's the something there that wasn't there before. You were talking about the birds. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So like, and there's Belle and Philippe on the other side. So again, I'm not going to show any more of this one, other than to say the transformation scene in this one is the best show scene I think I've ever seen.
The transformation scene in general, it brings more tears to my eyes than the actual Cinderella transformation scene that Walt said was the best thing he'd ever seen, his favorite scene of all time. Of course, he didn't see this one, but it rivals, and I would say because of the similarities, it rivals Flynn Rider when he sacrifices himself for Rapunzel and he cuts her hair and she cries, and then all the power of the flower comes out from her tear soaking into him. It's a very similar feel for that, but both of those scenes are so, because they are so transformative and just impressive, just how they drew it, but then it makes you feel that emotion. And again, because you're seeing it from Belle's first person's perspective
Yeah.
of his face finally. But she still questions him. She kind of squints, raises her eyebrows some, and then she sees that his eyes are the same. It is you. And he said, it's me. It's really me, because he from his empathy and his being able to put her needs and her desires, seeing her happy is more important than him being happy. He has regrown, re-established his humanity, and therefore that, I think I would put that probably as number one. That one scene.
The music swells, and the yeah, everything about it is just is perfectly done. Here's the castle during the day when you walk up to it. And you can pay for a single pass to get in, and I did. Um,
Well, of course. How often
yeah.
are you going to get over there?
And so as I'm walking by, and I kind of shot the camera over here so that you could see like the castle itself, like the detail on it is just
It's impressive.
amazing. Yeah.
But where's the transformation scene? I thought you had video of that too.
I don't remember if I have that handy or not. It's pretty amazing. I'm just gonna tell you, I probably don't have
Is it a
footage of it.
Pepper's Ghost situation? How did they do it?
Sort of, yeah. But
Okay.
I don't know. Like I literally don't
Mm.
know. It's just so well done that I just was like, almost didn't want to know. I think we rode this one 3 or 4 times,
Oh,
and it
wow.
was each time just wait a minute, maybe it's not as good as we thought it was. No, no, it is as good as we thought it was.
No, it is good.
Yeah, it's definitely as good as we thought it
Worth
was.
going to Japan.
Yeah, and I think I'm making Jay wear mad in the chat because he's saying like, well, and we have to build DVC clubs and lounges and things. We don't have the money to build that kind of stuff. Which
We do have a lot of those. That's true.
yeah, exactly. Which as a DVC member, I'm happy to have those, but at the same time, like um, I would rather have the whole deal. I was looking to
Yeah.
see if I could find the transformation scene, but again, oh here it is. I'm not sure how much of it I can.
If you build
Uh,
it, they will come, Jayware. Oh, yes. Oh, wow.
right? Bum,
That
bum,
is so
bum,
cool.
bum, 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 bum. Yeah, yeah. It's just
So it's a physical, I mean, it kind of looks like maybe a Pepper's Ghost situation with the beast, and then it shows like the lighting is different so that you can see one and then the other.
yeah. It's just really good, Stephanie. I know that you had plans on going
You're
there
like,
at some
don't
point.
don't ask.
But I mean, and in the last scene when you're like dancing around with like with the two of them, it's just like, you
Oh.
know, yeah, it's really the whole thing top to bottom is really well done.
Mm.
Maybe, and again, that's my favorite attraction I think of any attraction that I've ever been on. Um,
Wow.
I mean, I again, I love Rise of the Resistance, and I will ride it every single time. But this is
Yeah.
one that I was like, can I pay again? Can I pay one more time to go ride this thing
Yeah.
because it was so good? But they also have like a little village nearby, with it. So it's like you have the
Oh.
little village with like some of the sort of set pieces, and they have like a gift shop, and they have a Gaston's Tavern, and so there are other elements to it, that it's not just that attraction. They have made sort of a little village, and
A
it's really
complete
neat.
area.
So yeah,
A
so we ate at
complete land.
Gaston's. We ate at Gaston's, which was more of a full service, like counter
Oh,
service
okay.
meal than it was like it's a snack shop basically at the one that we
Yes.
do in Florida. So
Yeah, that's true.
and again, like it's a really well done. I wish that they would bring it here.
I
And
wish that
maybe
they
I
would
would
bring a
get
lot of the things from Japan here.
maybe I would get sick of it at some point, and maybe it was just the fact that it was new. But it was just maybe I built it up in my head, but it was just so well done, and it did something that you and I talk about a lot of the time. Is it told the story? It's not Tiana's where it's like,
Yes.
hey, we've already done the movie, and we're not going to tell you about the movie, but we're going to go find a Zydeco band to play my party. Let's go.
Yes. Well, Patrick Hackett said it the best, I think, during one of our Park Adventurers Club episodes, because he said, I don't want to see a continuation of the story. I want to see the story. I want to be immersed in the story. And if when it comes to Tiana, what are you telling me afterwards? There really is no story to that ride. It's like we're just looking under rocks, literally, to find animals for this band.
Yeah.
It's not progressing. It doesn't have a protagonist or antagonist. There's nothing to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, Mama Odie is the antagonist because she's like making you ball small and then make you big again, and
I
I don't know.
guess.
Yeah, it's a thing. I don't know. I just I like I like the thought of rebuilding a dark ride for the Princess and the Frog that has the Shadow Man
Mhm.
in it, and they didn't do that.
Yes.
And like that's like Friends on the Other Side. We were talking about music we love from this. Friends on the Other Side. That's my
Mhm.
song from that one. Like I love that one,
Mhm.
and you don't have it. And
Exactly.
um, I love the fact that this is just a retelling of the
Mhm.
story, and we're there from the beginning, from the part where she's going through the castle and she meets him, to then us getting on there and just riding through their experience, and then the happily ever after at the end, and the music swells, and you pull up and
Mhm.
cry and get out, and you look at the castle, and just the facade is beautiful from the outside, and then the little town that's there, and the Gastons. I liked the Gastons meal too. So they really have brought Beauty and the Beast to that park. Um, they kind of did
Mhm.
here. They kind of did in New Fantasyland, but just not to this level. And I know maybe other people don't always want a dark ride, but when I go to a place like a Busch Gardens or like a Dollywood, where you either have to be a thrill
Mhm.
ride seeker and or and ride roller coasters, or you have to be a little kid and ride the little cars that go in circles, or you have to be
Right.
watch a show. Like that's I love
Mhm.
that there's a middle ground and something that everyone can do together, and it's a neat experience.
Well, I do think that the one thing that sets Disney apart is, like you're talking about, the dark rides, because everybody can enjoy them, absolutely. But then you have the entertainment, and I'm always going to push for more entertainment, you know me. But I will say that I love Enchanted Tales with Belle. And if you're only there for a day or you're doing Magic Kingdom, I don't know why you would do this, but for half a day, that might be one that you miss because you're trying to jump on some rides and go on to the next thing. But it really is an experience. It's immersion into the story. And I will tell you, at Disneyland, we were just there, and our daughters and I did the princess breakfast over there. And not this time, but the time before last, Belle actually came out and read a story, told her story to the group of kids that were there for breakfast. So I know that they do encourage that kind of thing. And again, I love any and all entertainment. Let's bring back more entertainment, please. Let's have more options for that. But I do think that because of the time frame, it is hard to kind of catch and work that into your day. But it is something that you have to go and say, we're going to go and do this, Enchanted Tales.
Well, but it's also sort of hidden. You don't really know what it is
Yes.
unless like if you know, you know. That's that's what they
Right.
meant when they made up that phrase. They meant Enchanted Tales with Belle. Well themed. It's a great experience, but also it's a meet and greet. So like
Hmm.
you can go passively. I'm sure go in, not participate, sit in the back, see the little
You
show,
can.
see the kids get excited, and then leave. But it is a really neat experience, and I think that there are a lot of those things at Disney that people don't understand, who aren't as like entrenched in the nostalgia and the all of the Disney things like we are. Is that like you just they go and go, where are the roller coasters? They're there and there. Okay, let me ride Space Mountain. Let me ride
Right.
Seven Doors, and then let me get out of here. I didn't like Disney. There wasn't enough to do, and it's just like you missed so
Exactly.
much if you don't. Yeah. So basically, you need to go with me and Stephanie. We'll go and we'll show you
Yeah, come
our
on.
Disney and all the things that we love about it. I mean, there's so many things to love about it, and every time I go with my family or without, I experience it in a different way. And I
Yes.
never get tired of it because I never do it all. And sometimes I'll do the same thing, eat at the same
Yeah.
restaurant for a while or whatever. But for the most part, you can always make each Disney trip different. And again,
True.
my son is going. He's going through all these movies with his friends, and he's going. These are the things you need to know before you go, so you can truly appreciate what I'm going to take you
What
through
you're
when you
seeing.
go there. Like he's got
Good
homework for
idea.
days for them, which again is why I think it made me think we needed to modify this show a little bit to talk about both, because there are a
Yeah.
lot of things that are inspired by the park or things that the park inspires back into movies and TV shows that that it's worth talking about. All of them. Like I think if you've never seen The Force Awakens, Galaxy's Edge misses for you a little bit. Where's Luke? Where's Darth Vader? I don't understand.
Yes. Unless you're at
Obviously,
Disneyland.
unless you're at Disneyland. I was about to say they're going to fix that. The same thing with like Tron Legacy. It really, you can ride Tron. That's a fun coaster. But if you've seen Tron Legacy, you're like, okay, I get it. Like this is
Yeah.
really the Daft Punk music as you're walking up and all that. So it's really cool when you take the movie and you take the attraction and you have them as an experience, and it really is kind of the way I think Walt dreamed it, which was something that Josh Damaro has been talking about too, is that there's a place for the fans to live inside their favorite stories.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you guys for being with us tonight. I know we ran a little bit over, but but I love talking about this stuff, and I got to talk a little bit extra about Japan and this attraction we haven't talked about before. So you're welcome. I want to
Yes.
say thank you to our pack, everybody in our pack. We love you guys. The Park Adventurers Club. That is the name of our channel. That is the name of our Sunday show, and that is the name of our community, the Park Adventurers Club. Thank you guys who have become members of our Patreon. You can find out more at patreon.com/go pack, PAC. And thank you especially to all of our Zebra Mezzanine and Treasure Room supporters. That really means the world that you guys are here with us and that you also help support us in the things that we do. And we always are aspiring to do more and more. We give you 3 new shows every single week. And we've got another show coming up this Friday where Patrick and Ron are going to be talking about their latest cruise experience, a little bit kind of off of the beaten path of what we normally talk about. Sunday night, we have another Park Adventurers Club, and Stephanie is going to be with us again with a new adventurer that you guys have not met yet, Taylor. And then next Wednesday night is another look on the plus side with Dumbo, which again, taking the idea of the attraction and the movie and putting them together for a look on the plus side. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Stephanie, for talking about this. But now is the
Thank
time.
you.
Now is the best time because we've talked about the movie. We've talked about the effects it's had on the parks. People come to Stephanie and say, Stephanie, you are the expert on all things Disney. And I've looked at Disney Plus and I see this movie, Beauty and the Beast, and I heard a lot about it. I didn't grow up in that era, but I heard about that movie. And the question, would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely, hands down. It is a do not miss, do not skip. You have to watch that. Please watch it before you watch the live action. That's all I want to say about that. But this one absolutely is Disney legend. It is iconically Disney. It has all the emotions, it has the depth of the characters. They're well developed. You feel Belle's anxiety about her father. She feels torn between her loyalty and her word. She wants to keep her word to the beast, but at the same time, she wants to make sure that her dad is okay. And at one point, she just gives up and says, I'm out of here." And then her view of him changes as soon as he saves her life from the wolves. So you see the growth of her. You see the growth in the beast. He completely changes in how he interacts with others. It is the one thing that doesn't change is Gaston. That leads to his untimely death, I guess. But I do think that it is something that is well developed. It is a wonderful story. It is quintessential Disney. Definitely don't skip. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, and Rosita is in the chat saying that she would also recommend. So, yeah, you know what? Honestly, again, this one was the rebirth for me. I think like I've always loved Disney, but I loved seeing things like Fox and the Hound and Tron and all that kind of stuff. But I really felt like Disney really hit its stride again with Beauty and the Beast. Obviously, Little Mermaid before it, Aladdin after it. But this era was so fun and magical, and the things that have happened since then with the attractions, with the stage shows, with the live action remake, and I think that's one of the better live action remakes, companions to one of these movies. But this one itself, like I said before, it's the pacing is still on point. The music is amazing. The story is well told. It has all of the elements that they put into place, and they didn't just make an animated movie. They made, I feel like, a musical film instead of just an animated movie. It really has all of the elements that I would look for in a film, and it was a sometimes when I go back and rewatch these movies, Stephanie, it is, I don't know how you feel about it, but sometimes you're like, what did I see in this the first time? Or it felt
Right.
like a chore. This one was just like coming back home to an old friend.
Yes.
So I'm glad you picked this one out, and we would love to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
Jay Ware said spoiler. I don't know about what, but but can't wait to find out. But thank you guys for being with us tonight. I appreciate it. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe. If you haven't already, give us a like. Leave a comment below. That helps us as well. And then also, come back and hang out with us Friday night at 9 with Patrick and Ron when we talk about their cruise, and then definitely Sunday night at 8:30 for our Park Adventurers Club, or just next Wednesday night for another look on the plus side. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Au revoir.
It's more French than was actually